Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss on the topic ophthalmic preparations. So first, what is ophthalmic preparation? They are specialized dosage form designed to be instilled onto the external surface of eye, that is topical, or administered inside the eye, that is intraocular, or adjacent to it, that is periocular. Examples are juxtascleral or subtenon, or used in conjunction with an ophthalmic device. So these are essential characteristics of different ophthalmic preparations which we will study later. These are surface activity, viscosity, pH preparation, tonicity and sterility. So there are different dosage form and advantages and disadvantages. First, solution. Advantages are that they are convenient, usually do not interfere with vision of patient, and disadvantages are rapid percorneal elimination, non-sustained action, to be administered at frequent intervals. Suspensions. Advantages: patient compliance, best for drug with slow dissolution and longer contact time. Disadvantages are drug properties decide performance, loss of both solution and suspended particles, irritation potential due to the particle size of the drug. Emulsions. Advantages: prolonged release of drug from vehicle. Disadvantages: blurred vision, patient not compliance. So drugs used in the eye. Some examples are miotics, example pilocarpine hydrochloride, mydriatics, example atropine, cycloplegics, example atropine, anti-inflammatories, example corticosteroids, anti-infectives, these are antibiotics, antivirals and antibacterials. And anti-glaucoma drugs, example pilocarpine hydrochloride, adjuncts, example irrigating solution, diagnostic drugs, example sodium fluoroscreen, and anesthetics, example tetracaine. So anatomy and physiology of the eye. Parts of eye are sclera, iris, cornea, pupil, lens, conjunctiva, vitreous, cornoid, optic nerve, macula and retina. Now we will study about different parts of the eye. First, the sclera. The protective outer layer of the eye, referred to as white of the eye, and it maintains the shape of the eye. Cornea. The front portion of the sclera is transparent and allows light to enter the eye. The cornea is a powerful refracting surface, providing much of eye's focusing power. The choroids. It is the second layer of eye and lies between sclera and retina. It contains the blood vessels that provide nourishment to the outer layer of the retina. Iris. It is the part of eye that gives it color. Lens. Lens is a transparent biconvex structure covering the function of the lens is to refract and focus incoming light onto the retina. Retina. It is the innermost layer in the eye. It converts images into electrical impulses that are sent along the optic nerve to the brain where the images are interpreted. Macula. It is located in back of the eye in the center of the retina. This area produces sharpest vision. The inside of the eyeball is divided by lens into two fluid-filled sections. The larger section at the back of the eye is filled with a colorless gelatinous mass called vitreous humor. The smaller section in front contains a clear water-like material called aqueous humor. So, classification of ocular drug delivery system. They are divided into different parts. First, liquids. It contains solution, suspension, powder for reconstitution, and salt to gel systems. Then semi-solid, these contain ointment, gels. Then solid, ocular inserts, contact lenses, and then intraocular dosage form, which contains injection, irrigating solutions, and implants. So formulation considerations. First, foreign particles. All the ophthalmic products should be clear and free from foreign particles, fibers, and filaments. Ophthalmic solution should be clarified very carefully by passing through bacteria-proof filter such as membrane filters, sintered glass filters. The particle size of the eye suspension should be in an ultra-fine state of subdivision to minimize irritation. A separate filter should be used for different ophthalmic products in order to avoid the contamination. Second, viscosity. In order to prolong the contact time of the drug in the eye, various thickening agents are added in the ophthalmic preparations. Polyvinyl alcohol, that is 1 to 4%, polyethylene glycol, methyl cellulose, carboxymethyl cellulose. These are some of the commonly used thickening agents. These agents improve the viscosity of the preparation. An ideal thickening agent should possess the following properties. It should be easy to filter, should be easy to sterilize, should be compatible with other ingredients, it should possess requisite refractive index and clarity level. Thickening agents are not included in the formulation of eye drops and eye lotions, which are required to be used during or after surgery due to some possible adverse effects on the interior of the eye. Third, tonicity. Ophthalmic products should be isotonic with lacrimal secretions to avoid discomfort and irritation. It has been observed that eye can tolerate a range of tonicity from 0.5 to 2% NaCl. There are certain isotonic vehicles which are used to prepare ophthalmic products like 1.9% boric acid, sodium acid phosphate buffer. Fourth is pH of the preparations. pH plays an important role in the therapeutic activity, solubility, stability, and comfort to the patient. Tears have a pH of about 7.4. Eye can tolerate solution having wide range of pH provided they are not strongly buffered, since the tear will rapidly restore the normal pH value of the eye. Alkaloid salt solutions are stable at pH 2 to 3, but this pH is irritant to the eye. The alkaloids get precipitated at pH above 7 and creates a number of formulation problems. Fifth, sterility. Ophthalmic preparations must be sterile when prepared. Pseudomonas aeruginosa is very common gram-negative bacteria which is generally found to be present in ophthalmic products. It may cause serious infection of the cornea. It can cause complete loss of eyesight in 24 to 48 hours. To maintain the sterility in multi-dose container containing ophthalmic products, a suitable preservative is added. The preservative should be non-toxic, non-irritant, and should be compatible with medicaments. The ophthalmic products are generally sterilized by autoclaving, filtration through bacteria-proof filters, and addition of bactericides at low temperature. Sixth, surface activity. Vehicles used in ophthalmic preparations must have good wetting ability to penetrate cornea and other tissue. Certain surfactants or wetting agents added which are found suitable for ophthalmic products. It should not cause any damage to the tissue of eye. Benzalkonium chloride, polysorbate 20, polysorbate 80, dioctyl sodium sulfosuccinate, etc. are some of the surfactants which are commonly used. Now, types of ophthalmic dosage forms. First, ophthalmic solutions or drops. These are by far the most common dosage forms for delivering drug to the eye. By definition, ingredients are completely soluble such that dose uniformity is not an issue and there is little physical interference with vision. Formulation of eye drop. In this, we use drug, preservative, sterilization, isotonicity, buffer, viscosity, container, and then label. Drug. These contain drug of various categories including antiseptic, anti-inflammatory agent, mydriatic or meiotic properties. Preservatives. Eye drops should be sterile and should contain preservatives to avoid microbial contamination when the container is open. It includes benzalkonium chloride, chlorobutanol, phenyl mercuric acetate, phenyl mercuric nitrate, etc. Sterilization. Eye drops are sterilized by autoclaving at 121 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes or by bacteria filter. Isotonicity. All the solutes including drug contribute to osmotic pressure of the eye drop, therefore isotonicity of the formulation should be calculated. It is adjusted with sodium chloride, for example sodium chloride 0.9% and boric acid 1.9%. Buffer. It should be added to maintain balance between comfort, stability and activity of drug. Boric acid, monobasic sodium phosphate are the common buffers of eye drop. Viscosity. The size of drop and its residence time in eye depends on viscosity of eye drops, example methyl cellulose. Containers. The commonly used container for ophthalmic solution or suspension is multi-dose container, that is 5 ml or 10 ml. Glass container is supplied with sterile plastic dropper. Plastic bottles are with built-up nozzle also used. Label. These are some things which we have to keep in mind, not for injection, for external use only, shake well before use. Powder for solutions. Drugs that have very limited stability in aqueous solution can sometimes be prepared as sterile powders for reconstituted by the pharmacist before dispensing to the patient. The sterile powder should be aseptically reconstituted with the accompanying sterile diluent that has been optimized for dissolution, preservation and stability. The pharmacist must convey to the patient any special storage instructions including the expiration date. Third, ophthalmic suspensions. Suspensions are dispersion of finely divided, relatively insoluble drug substances in an aqueous vehicle containing suitable suspending and dispersing agents. The vehicle is among other things a saturated solution of the drug substance. Because of a tendency of particle to be retained in the cul-de-sac, the contact time and duration of action of suspension could theoretically exceed that of a solution. The drug is absorbed from solution and the solution concentration is replenished from retained particles. Each of these actions is a function of particle size, with solubility rate being favored by smaller size and retention favored by larger size. Thus, optimum activity should result from an optimum particle size.
Fourth, gel forming solutions. Ophthalmic solutions, usually water based, which contain a polymer system that is a low viscosity liquid in the container, but gels on contact with the tear fluid have increased contact time and can provide increased drug absorption and prolonged duration of therapeutic effect. The liquid to gel phase transition can be triggered by a change in temperature, pH, ionic strength, or presence of tear proteins depending on the particular polymer system employed. Timolol maleate gel forming solutions formulated with specific patented gellan or xanthan gums have clinically demonstrated prolonged duration of IOP, that is intraocular pressure lowering, such that their dosing frequency can be reduced from twice to once a day. Review the labeling for commercial gel forming solutions before dispensing for current instruction related to patient administration. Fifth are the ophthalmic ointments. Ophthalmic ointments are primarily anhydrous and contain mineral oil and white petrolatum as the base ingredients, the proportions of which can be varied to adjust consistency and the melting temperature. Dosage variability probably is greater than with solutions, though probably not greater than that of a suspension. Now, formulation of eye ointments. The ointment base for an eye ointment must be non-irritating to the eye. The eye ointment base should melt near to the body temperature so as to permit the diffusion of the drug through the lacrimal secretions of the eye. It should contain yellow soft paraffin 80 gram, liquid paraffin 10 gram, wool fat 10 gram. Sixth are the ophthalmic emulsions. An emulsion dosage form offers the advantage of the ability to deliver a poorly water-soluble drug in a solubilized form as an eye drop. The drug is dissolved in a non-aqueous vehicle such as castor oil and emulsified with water using a non-ionic surfactant and, if needed, an emulsion stabilizer. An emulsion with water as the external phase can be less irritating and better tolerated by the patient than use of a purely non-aqueous vehicle. Such an emulsion is used to deliver cyclosporine topically for the treatment of chronic dry eye conditions. Seventh are ophthalmic gels. Gel forming polymers such as carbomer have been used to develop aqueous semi-solid dosage form which are packaged and administered the same as ointments. The viscous gels have significantly increased topical residence time and can increase drug bioavailability and decrease dosage frequency compared to solutions. Although they contain a large proportion of water, they can still cause blurring of vision. A carbomer gel of pilocarpine administered at bedtime has been shown to prolong the IOP lowering effect in patients for up to 24 hours. Eighth are the eye lotions. Eye lotion are the sterile aqueous solutions used for washing of the eyes. The eye lotions are supplied in concentrated form and are required to be diluted with warm water immediately before use. They are usually applied with a clean eye bath or sterilized fabric dressing, and a large volume of solutions is allowed to flow quickly over the eye. Next is the formulation of eye lotion. Eye lotions are simple solution. They are isoosmotic with tears because they cause much greater dilution of the lacrimal fluid and hence are more likely to cause discomfort if not adjusted. The eye lotions are sterilized by autoclaving or by passing through membrane filters. Ninth are the ocular inserts. Ocular inserts have been developed in which the drug is delivered on the basis of diffusional mechanisms. Such a dosage form delivers an ophthalmic drug at a near constant known rate, minimizing side effects by avoiding excessive absorption peaks. The delivery of pilocarpine by such an insert was commercialized in 1975 by Elza Corporation. The OcuSert is designed to be placed in the lower sac to provide a weekly dose of pilocarpine at which the time system is removed and replaced by a new one. The near zero order rate delivery is based on the selection of a non-eroding copolymer membrane enclosing the drug reservoir. Next are the methods of preparations of these ophthalmic preparations. First is eye drop. The first step is preparation of solution. Prepare vehicle containing preservative, antioxidant, stabilizer, tonicity modifier, buffer. Then add active ingredient and make up the volume with the vehicle. Second is the clarification process. In this, no particular matter should be left in the solution. So we have to make use of sintered glass filters or membrane filters, 0.45 to 1.2 microgram pore size. Clarified solution is then filled into final containers and sealed. Third process is sterilization. Methods used for sterilization can include autoclaving, filtration, heating, dry heat sterilization, especially for non-aqueous preparations. Fourth step is covering them with readily breakable seal, and fifth, at the last, labeling is done. Next, the formulation of eye ointments. First, melt wool fats of paraffin on a water bath, then add liquid paraffin. Filter through coarse filter placed in heated funnel. It is sterilized by dry heat method in 160 degrees Celsius for about 2 hours. Incorporate the medicament with the eye ointment base. Fifth, pack in sterile containers. Eye ointments are sterile preparations meant for application to the eye. These are prepared in the aseptic condition and packed in sterile collapsible tubes which keep the preparation sterile until whole of it is consumed. Next is the preparations of eye lotion. For example, we have to prepare and submit sodium chloride eye solution BPC, RX sodium chloride 9 gram purified water to produce 1000 ml. Method include dissolve sodium chloride in purified water and made the final volume by adding more of purified water. Filter through sintered glass filter grade 4. The eye lotion is transferred to the bottle. Close and seal the bottle and sterilize it by autoclaving. Labeling requirements include name and concentration of medicaments, name and concentration of antimicrobial agent, date after which the product is not intended to be used, discard the contents at a specified time after opening, about 1 month. If any discomfort or irritation, discontinue use of the eye drop. And 6, for external use only. Containers. Containers are of two types. First are single dose containers. It is minimum unit and consists of a disposable, pliable tube-like applicator made from polypropylene by ultrasonic sealing. It has a nozzle protected by a cap. It is generally enclosed in a heat-sealed envelope. Second, multiple application containers. The traditional container for eye drops is a glass bottle carrying in the cap a dropper fitted with a TET. Example, amber colored bottle to provide protection from light, hexagonal in cross section and vertically ribbed on 3 adjacent faces. The ribs indicate that the contents must not be taken orally. Made from neutral or treated soda glass. 6, screw capped bottle with separate droppers. Next is the evaluation of ophthalmic preparations. Evaluation is a test of finished product to check if they are free from microorganisms. Evaluation of ophthalmic products can be done by the following tests: sterility test, clarity test, leakers test, and metal particles in ophthalmic ointment. First is sterility test. The two basic methods are there for sterility testing. First is direct inoculation method. It involves the direct introduction of product test samples into the culture media. Second includes membrane filtration method. It involves filtering test sample through membrane filter, washing the filter with fluid to remove inhibitory property and transferring the membrane aseptically to appropriate culture media. Detection of contamination used two culture media. First is soybean casein digest medium incubated at 20 to 25 degrees Celsius, and second is fluid thioglycolate medium which is incubated at 30 to 35 degrees Celsius for 7 days. Second test include the clarity test. In this, ophthalmic solutions by definition contain no undissolved ingredient and are essentially free from foreign particles. First, visual inspection. Under a good light, baffled against reflection into the eye and viewed against the black and white background. Second is the instrumental method. It is utilizing the principle of light scattering, light absorption and electrical resistance to obtain particle count and size distribution. Destruction of product units only for quality control testing. Third test is leakers test. In this, we have to select 10 tubes of the ointment with seals applied when specified. Thoroughly clean and dry the exterior surface of each tube and with an absorbent cloth. Third, place the tubes in horizontal position on a sheet of absorbent blotting paper and in an oven maintained at temperature 60 plus 3 to 8 hours. No significant leakage occurs during or at the completion of the test. If leakage is observed from one but more than one of the tubes, repeat the test with 20 additional tubes of the ointment. Last, the requirement is met if no leakage is observed from the first 10 tubes tested or if leakage is observed from not more than one of the 30 tubes tested. Last test is the metal particles in ophthalmic ointment. First of all, count the number of metal, extrude as completely as practicable the content of 10 tubes individually into separate, clear, flat bottom 60 mm Petri dishes that are free from scratches. Cover the dishes and heat at 85 degrees Celsius for around 2 hours, increasing the temperature slightly if necessary to ensure that a fully fluid state is obtained. Third, taking precautions against disturbing the melted sample, allow each to cool to room temperature and to solidify. Remove the covers and invert each petri dish on the stage of suitable microscope adjusted to furnish 30 times magnification and equipped with an eyepieces micrometer disc that has been calibrated at the magnification being used. Examine the entire bottom of the petri dish for metal particles. Then particles that are 50 micrometer or larger in any dimension, the requirements are met if the total number of such particles in all 10 tubes does not exceed 50 and if not more than one tube is found to contain more than 8 such particles. If these results are not obtained, repeat the test on 20 additional tubes. The requirements are met if the total number of metal particles that are 50 micrometer or larger in any dimension does not exceed 150 in all 30 tubes tested and if not more than 3 of the tubes are found to contain more than 8 such particles each. These are the references from which this material has been taken, and that's all. Thank you.